What's up, y'all? Closure doesn't only come in the form of having a conversation with somebody to ask them why they did what they did. Sometimes closure looks like exactly what panned out in the situation. Sometimes it looks like just forgiving yourself for the part that you played, whether it was what you did do or what you didn't do. You know, I think oftentimes when we think of closure, because we're such inquisitive beings, we want to know why this person did this or why they treated me that way. I didn't deserve this. So why would you do it? But 9 times out of 10, that person's not going to tell you the truth. Because if they could tell you the truth, they probably wouldn't have done that to you in the first place. Because they would have told you the truth enough to let you know, hey, this is not going to work. Hey, I can't be in this position anymore. Whatever. But sometimes the reason why is in the proof. How they say the proof is in the pudding? It's literally in what they did. What happened? What caused you guys to separate? Whether it was they just couldn't love you enough. They couldn't respect you enough. You know? Maybe they couldn't tolerate you anymore. Maybe you couldn't tolerate them. Maybe you guys were dealing in something extremely toxic. Whatever it is. Maybe they didn't have emotional control. Maybe they had wounds that they were bleeding onto you or vice versa. You know? But sometimes the closure is in the exact situation. And that's sometimes what you have to allow yourself to be okay with and accept. You know? And when I say be okay with, I'm not saying in a sense of be okay with how this person treated you. No, but in regard to seeking closure, be able to say, hey, this is what happened. This hurt me. And I may never get a response from this person. I may never get an apology from this person, but I can move forward with just continuing to love myself, continuing to learn to forgive people because it is a requirement. That's not an ask. You have to forgive people the same way God has forgiven you for things that you've done that were out of his will or out of alignment with him, right? We have to forgive people and know that forgiveness does not mean access. It doesn't mean that you allow this person access back into your life. But it does mean that for myself, I'm going to forgive so that I don't hold grudge, so that I don't harden my heart, so that I don't put myself in a position that when I try to enter into a new relationship, I'm carrying all this baggage from this previous relationship into this new one because I'm still hurt or I never received the closure from this previous relationship. Does that make sense? I hope this is making sense and it's coming together. But this was just on my heart to share because I think so many of us are in a space of deep wounded hurt by people of our past or things that have happened in our our lives. And it's causing us to alter the way that we see people, the way that we see things, the way that we trust. And that essentially we move forward in life with this just like guarded, like fence around us. Like nobody touch me, nobody come around me, nobody come near me. And it's like, that person hurt you. I didn't. That person hurt you. They didn't hurt you. So they shouldn't be receiving what you wish this other person could receive from you. Does that make sense? Because of what they did to you, right? So the important thing is heal. Evaluate what went right and what went wrong in that relationship, whether it's a relationship or a friendship. You know, acknowledge what that person did to you. Acknowledge what you did or did not do, right? And be able to say, hey, I forgive myself for that because there's no need to beat yourself up. Acknowledge, hey, I forgive myself, but I also forgive them too for what they didn't know. Because oftentimes people aren't bad people, but their environments, what they've been around and what they've seen have put them in a place where this is all they know. And so it's how they treat people. Their own wounds, if they haven't healed from those, are often what gets bled onto you, which causes them to act in the way that they act. you know? And so that's what you call compassion, where you're able to say, dang, okay, yes, this hurt, but I understand where it came from. I can make out probably why this person did what they did. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't make it okay, but it does provide me understanding so that I can build that closure for myself, so that I can move on and say, hey, moving forward, I know that anybody who is wounded in this area, or even just wounded in general, I can now pay attention to it and call it out when needed. Be vigilant, and in the case that it's just not working out, or they're not healing, or they're not growing, hey, maybe this is something I need to step away from, so that I don't continue to put myself in the same cycle of encountering the same people with the same wounds, just different situations, and now I'm constantly getting hurt over and over and over, time and time again, in this relationship or this friendship. So I hope that all made sense. And I hope through this, you guys are able to find healing. And again, know that closure isn't always a conversation. Closure isn't always an apology from somebody, because sometimes in life you will get an apology, but then there's other times where you'll never get one. But life still moves on, and you still deserve to live a healthy, happy life, regardless of whether you receive an apology or not. Hope that helps somebody. I'll talk to you later.